From 1977 to 1990, Peter Lynch ran the Fidelity Magellan Fund, an actively managed fund which became famous for its performance. You see, over that 13-year time period, the fund jumped from $18 million in assets under management to $14 billion, averaging a 29.2% annual return. His investment philosophy was based on value and common sense, and he emphasized companies that he could understand that also had strong balance sheets and prospects. Peter Lynch's 1989 book, One Up on Wall Street, is considered to be an investing classic and has sold over 1 million copies. He was born in Massachusetts to parents of Irish and French-Canadian ancestry. But who exactly were these people and where did they come from? My name is Yona Paley and I believe genealogy is fun. And on today's episode of Ancestors Unveiled, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the ancestry, both patrilineal and matrilineal, of famed investor Peter Lynch, so that we can see what we can learn about his family. Peter Simon Lynch was born 1944 in Newton, Massachusetts, the youngest son of Thomas Martin Lynch Jr. and Esther Griffin. Thomas had a profession which, upon learning what it was, made a lot of sense. You see, he was an auditor for an insurance company, meaning that Peter Lynch grew up in a household with a shrewd eye for financial analysis. But before we go any deeper into the patrilineal side of Peter Lynch, I have just a quick favor to ask, which is that you hit the like button and subscribe. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers and every single one counts. So thank you so much for doing that, and let's continue. Thomas Jr. was born 1907 in Monson, Massachusetts, to, you guessed it, Thomas Martin Lynch Sr. and Margaret Fox. Thomas Sr. was a carpenter, but he had come from a family of farmers. His father, William Lynch, came over to America at the age of 15 and settled in Massachusetts, where he had become a successful farmer. He married Mary O'Neill in his early 30s, and the couple had 8 children, including Thomas Martin. Now, researching this episode was exciting for me because it was actually the first time I had encountered Irish genealogy. Not sure why that took so long, but that's the case. And so I was able to use a lot of the tips and tricks in my arsenal to figure out how was I going to trace the Lynch family back to Ireland. William's death certificate lists his parents as Dennis Lynch and Catherine Brosnahan. And as it turns out, he had at least 1 or 2 other siblings who came to America as well. And thanks to some Irish baptismal records on Ancestry.com, it didn't take too long to locate the family. Dennis, aka Dionisi Lynch, and Katharina Brosnahan lived in County Kerry, Ireland. A few baptismal records of William's siblings, and it should be noted that I could not find William's own baptism, list the place of residence as Tralee, and an 1824 marriage record for the couple says the same. So for now, what we can determine is that Peter Lynch's great-great-grandparents were from Kerry County, or County Kerry as it's written, Ireland. And that's the furthest back that I feel comfortable tracing this line. But for all you out there who are very familiar with Irish genealogy, let me know in the comment section below what I'm missing and how I can take this line back even further. So anyways, moving on to the matrilineal side, talking about Peter Lynch's mother, Esther Griffin. She was born one of 7 children of Eugene Griffin, a factory superintendent, and Josephine Chagnon. Esther died in 1983, leaving behind her 3 sons. Although Josephine was born in Connecticut, her surname Chagnon sounds very French, and if you made this observation, you would be correct, because as we're about to find out, the family hails from French Canada. Josephine's 1896 marriage to Eugene Griffin lists her parents as Remy Chagnon and Armina Odette, but the 1904 obituary of her mother, Hermina or Armina, refers to the husband as Hiram rather than Remy, and the death certificate lists her maiden name as Lapointe, rather than Odette. Now, the reason for this first observation is that Remy had two names, Remy and Hiram. But the second one is a very interesting thing, which is that people from Quebec often had what is called double-barreled surnames. Some further digging revealed that her maiden name was originally Odette Lepont, or Odette dit Lepont, rather than one or the other. The death record also gives us Hermine's father's name as Toussaint, and that made finding the 1856 marriage between her and Remy, aka Hiram, to be a cinch. That document shows Hermine Odette dit Lepont to be the daughter of Toussaint Odette dit Lepont and Ursule Quintin dit Dubois, another double name of Quintin and Dubois. But it doesn't end there, because thanks to a wealth of Quebec vital records available on Ancestry, I was able to locate the 1818 marriage between Ursule and Toussaint, and it reveals to us another generation. Her parents were named Jean-Baptiste Quintin de Dubois and Marie Colette. Now, the quality of these Quebec records on Ancestry are very poor, and they appear to have been scanned at a very low resolution. Nonetheless, baptism records for many of Ursule's siblings exist, from a place called Lachienne, a former suburb of Montreal. But it still doesn't end there, because thanks to the Canadian genealogy website Nos Origins, I was able to obtain the 1782 marriage record from Family Search of Marie and Jean-Baptiste. Marie is 18 years old, implying a birth year of around 1764, and the document gives her parents to have been Thomas Colette and Josette Lucier, who turns out to have been named Marie Josephette Lucier. Now, I do not have a paid subscription to this website and thus was not able to see the direct links to most of the records for the rest of the tree. But if it is as well sourced as that one profile containing the marriage document, then the matrilineal line continues to go back to Marie Joseph Trudeau, born in 1717, then to Marie Madeleine Loiseli, born in 1694, Jean Lanlois, born in 1664, Marie Pontonnier, born 1643 in France, and then Félicité Yamin, also born in France. Now, to any people who understand any French or are from Canada, I apologize tremendously for these pronunciations. I find French names to be some of the most difficult to pronounce, and I don't really have that much of a metric of how to do it, so my apologies. I know that I probably butchered every single last one of these. So obviously this is a very long and detailed family tree with ample room for mistakes to have been made. But for any of you who do have paid access to Nos Origins, maybe let me know in the comment section below if there are documents attached to these profiles that actually back up the relationships. Because if they do, then, well, we have information now about Peter Lynch's 5th through 9th great-grandmothers, which is going back pretty far, all the way to the early 17th century in France. So anyways, I hope this has been an interesting episode for you. It's definitely been an interesting episode for me, as it's forced me to try exploring Irish genealogy a little bit, and also goes to highlight different weaknesses that I have in researching certain types of families. So this channel is just as educational for me as it is for you, and I hope to continue to do in-depth dives on really interesting people. So anyways, once again, make sure to like, subscribe, share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.